Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Today I want to talk to you about 5 more tools that you need to build a deck. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, please click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out fresh content. And also you can comment down below and hit that like button as well. All right, so first thing we do on every project is we dig. We dig holes, and we dig a lot of them. And a good set of digging utensils will go a long way when you're starting out building decks. I always buy premium shovels because shovels, pry bars, rock bars, rakes, that kind of stuff, they break. They don't last forever. So I find that when I buy like a fiberglass handle shovel, it's gonna last a lot longer than a wood handle will. You can see this shovel's got a weak spot in it. I could probably have that welded up if I was concerned about it. Or, you know, eventually it's just gonna break and we'll get a new one. But you gotta have digging implements to be able to create holes in the ground so you can create your foundation for your deck, regardless if you're using precast footing blocks or if you're digging massive 6-foot deep holes in your jurisdiction, or if you're up in Canada somewhere. So you gotta have good digging equipment, regardless if it's a post hole digger, shovel, rock bars, that kind of thing. I like this rock bar in particular. It has a wedge on one side for breaking up dirt, breaking up rocks, that kind of thing. And then the other side has a tamper, which we use quite often to tamp out, flatten out the bottom of a hole. They're kind of heavy, but they do a really good job of busting up the ground. And it's pretty important to have one of these. I've had one since day one, since I was 21 years old and started my own business. I've had a rock bar, I've had a shovel. Flat shovels come in handy as well, especially when you're moving concrete and you're pulling it out of a wheelbarrow. These come in real handy. Again, I like this one's a Home Depot version, but they last a long time and we use them every day. So good break. I always get fiberglass handled stuff or steel handled stuff, depending on where I'm buying it. So that's one thing you need when you're building decks. I know this one might sound a little silly to some of you, but when you're building decks, you gotta have a tape measure. If you don't have one of these, you're in trouble. You're gonna need it. You're gonna have to have it. I've never built anything without measurements. So I know there's some guys that'll just buy a bunch of 12-footers and go, oh, that's the length, cut them, let's do it. You don't have to cut them, just stick them up against the house, nail them up, okay, put on the outside rim joist, okay, lay decking, you know, but you know, you gotta have a good tape measure. I use Stanley Fat Max. I like the Fat Max, I think it's a great tape. We use these, here's a little bonus footage for you. We buy these self-sticking scratch pads that we always put on the Fat Max, and that's why I just buy a standard 25-foot Fat Max that has a nice flat surface on the top, because then I can stick my notepad on there. We use scratch pads all the time. We also use these things, which I know you've seen and you've asked about. These are called the Quick Snap. This wasn't one of my items today, but you saw me grab for my chest. I took this off of here so that it wouldn't detract from the video, but then when I went to go grab it, it's automatic. When you start using these things every day like we do, it becomes automatic that you're grabbing for your pencil right here. It's not here, it's not down here, it's right here. So I don't even have to look for it. You know, I know when it's secure, I don't even look at it. I just grab it, okay? So, but the scratch pad is almost as important as having this Quick Snap. These are made by Fast Cap, and I know they're on YouTube, and you can also find them on Instagram. And Fast Cap makes all kinds of cool tools for carpenters and woodworkers and do-it-yourselfers and all that. But this one item right here, I buy in bulk because we go through a lot of them, but it is super nice to have a place to write notes on. It's not a lot of room, but we can get 20 measurements on here if we have to, but I'm usually writing 2 or 3 measurements down on this thing, and then I can put it, you know, put this away, put my tape down, and go over to the chop saw, and then talk to Nazi and say, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they go, wait, what was that measurement again? And I just look down, oh yeah, it's 28 and 19 inches. It's right there. As long as you write it down, man, you'll never forget it. So tape measure, notepad, Quick Snap. those are all really good things to have if you want to build decks. So another thing you might consider investing in for your business, maybe when you're first starting out, this may not be in the budget because they're not cheap, but I really firmly believe in Stabila products. I love their laser levels and their levels. We have the LAR 350. That's what we use for preliminary leveling. This thing has saved me thousands of dollars of mistakes. When you're pouring concrete and you have to have an elevation, if you pour your footings too high, and I've done this several times, even as a professional and 30 years in the industry, I've poured my concrete too high on a low deck. Like, we're building a really low deck right now. We're using precast Pier Blocks for this particular deck, but that's what we're using this for right now, is to make sure that our footings are deep enough so that we don't have to have a problem trying to dig them up again and set them lower into the ground. So we're using this LAR 350 right on top of this septic tank lid, and we're figuring out all of our elevations. The laser's hard to see even in the shade, so it has a receiver. This is called the REC 300. It's a digital receiver. It's pretty cool. As you get into the range of the laser will pick up right here on this red, and then it'll start telling you higher or lower. So it says, oh, you got to come up, and then as you go up or down, now we're pretty much dead even. There's level. You can even, I don't know, can you see that laser going across there? So sometimes once you start using the transmitter or the receiver, you can kind of see the laser going across it as well. So this is a very valuable tool for us. We mostly use it when we're pouring low decks on concrete, or when we're trying to set elevation on a second story deck for post heights. Those are very time consuming, and if we can correlate a relationship between the laser and the ledger of the house, then we can figure out how tall to make all of our posts, and then we just go through and measure to each footing, and then we can cut all our posts to height. So that is, in my opinion, something that everybody should have. You don't have to buy the fancy one, but as you develop your business and you become more successful and you have a few extra bucks to spend, it's kind of a great way to go. And since we're on the topic of Stabila, something else that I recommend everybody have that's gonna build a deck is a really nice set of levels. My wife actually bought me my first set of Stabilas for Christmas one year. She got me a jam kit, and I still have those levels. That was 15, 20 years ago. But now I have some really sweet R-beams, and I have a full collection of Stabila levels. Also, we have some of their plate levels, which come in very handy as well. But if you had to start off with just one set, I would just get either a jam kit or a set of these R-beams. The R-beams come, there's a 4-foot, a 2-foot, and an 8-foot. These are really awesome levels. They're sturdy, they come in a great bag. They're nice to carry. They're kind of just grippable. You can just grab them with one hand, and they're dead on accurate. They're also very trustworthy. Like if you need something for a straight edge, I use these all the time. That's why I like the 8-footer, because if I need to see something super flat, or if I want something that's super straight, I'll pull up my 8-foot R-beam and I can lay it across. Like this deck over here, for example, there's 3 beams and they're within 8 feet. I can pull this out and I can get all my elevation grading done after my initial grading with the laser and dial it in with this R-beam. And now I know this thing's dead flat. Even if there's some inconsistencies in the joist framing, at least I know that I've started out with a nice flat level surface. All right, here's the last thing on my list that I think you need to build a deck. And this one's really cool. I don't know exactly where you can get them, probably try Amazon, but it's a fold out square. We have a couple of these. This one is more of a 3-4-5 formula. I also have another one made by Stanley that's a fold out that's a true 45. Now that one comes in a little more handy when you're doing a lot of 45-degree angles. This one is strictly to make sure you're square, but it works really good. It folds up. You basically just push it together like this, and it folds up into a really compact space. So we have a special spot on our job site trailer for these, so they stay handy, but they also stay out of the way, and they are aluminum. They can bend. This one has a couple bends in it, but it still works really great. for squaring things up. And as a deck builder, when you're building even a simple 10 by 10 deck or 10 by 20, and it's a second story deck, man, you want to make sure that baby's square. We use these a lot of the times when we're laying out our footings and with strings, and we make sure that everything's square that way. Or we also can use these 10 feet up in the air and with a straight edge to make sure that our beams are set exactly where we want them. So this one is very valuable. I have a lot of people ask me, hey, where did you get that fold out square? And locally, I think there's a place, McClendon Hardware probably has them, but I'm sure you could go onto Amazon and find a fold out 3-4-5 square. And I recommend every deck builder to have one of these in their arsenal, because it just helps you become a better carpenter by keeping all of your framing square. You'll know right away if you're off. It's kind of like pulling a 3-4-5, if you know what that is, where you measure 3 feet one way, 4 feet the other way, and then you're supposed to have 5 feet in between it. This is like a shortcut to that, and it's a little more accurate, and you can actually pin it up against, you can stand in between here, and you can pin this thing up against the house, and you can really see what's going on with your squareness of your beam or your joist. So that is something that I recommend that you obtain. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you today. That's 5 more things that I think you need to build a deck. Thank you for watching. Please click that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to be notified, and don't forget to comment below and like this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.